All right. Well, happy Friday out there. We appreciate you tuning in to another Fireside Friday chat brought to you by the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Wesleyan University. Today, we have a special guest, one near and dear to my heart, given my trade and career, but Kelly Mason with the Pave the Road documentary is joining us. So we're going to hear all about the reuse of recycled plastics and the crisis that drove her to creating the film that is happening down in Costa Rica. So join us. We'll be on here the next half hour or so. And welcome to Fireside Friday. All right, so it is Fireside Friday here. So I am your, I guess, MC, host, whatever you want to call me, Steve Flaherty. So one of the entrepreneurial advisors here at the Entrepreneurship Center. Also the founder and CEO at Niko Tech, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot today because this is kind of what we strive to do. So we every Friday we're trying to bring you some amazing people that are doing awesome things. So across all categories and literally just have chats. So showcase who's out there. So if you ever want to join the show, come on in. You know, we're open. So just reach out to us here at the center. I'll throw my email down there in the chat and you can grab it sometime here. But Kelly, so welcome to Fireside Friday. You and I, you know, people will think that this is like set up, right? Because it's like, oh, this is what Steve does and everything. We literally just met. And it's just coincidental, you know, just met and have, you know, something very similar in common. And yeah, I mean, just hit it off. And, you know, we wanted to bring you on here and tell a little bit about what you're doing. So if you would just kind of give us, you know, the origin story real quick, just a synopsis of who you are.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for having me on Fireside Friday, Steve, with you. This is an honor because I know that, you know, yeah, like you said, we really have an invested interest in trying to help the planet and with the plastic waste situation. So yeah, I started a film. I didn't plan on making a film. Just a little background, I'm a filmmaker. I've been in the film industry for many years. And I work on big budget projects like Supergirl or The Flash. And I had children and couldn't go back to work full time. So I decided to go to Costa Rica with them and raise them on the beach. And while we were down there, we saw that a lot of children were getting sick from the road dust, and there was a real problem, and kids were having to drop out of school because it's a health hazard. So I thought, well, you know, I can probably try to help do something about this. A couple of the moms that I'd met had asked me to help them because they were very concerned. And quite frankly, I was very concerned about my own children. My son was starting to show signs of getting asthma. So I pulled the camera out and started interviewing community officials and community people and medical people. And you know, over the course of a decade, we ended up figuring out a way sustainably to pave the roads in front of the schools. And we, you know, went and tested waste materials in one of the best laboratories in the world, which happens to be in Costa Rica, which is so strange because they have terrible roads. They don't really pave a lot of their roads. But you know, we got to work there with the top engineers and really take our time to study all of these different types of plastics and understand that we could actually replace fossil fuels with garbage, and the roads would last 2 to 3 times longer. And you know, presently, because of this movement and this film that we've created, and having gone to like different summits and conferences before COVID hit, I realized that a large part of the industry is moving in this direction in the United States, such as your company, Steve. And people are really taking this seriously and doing a lot of testing and testing for microplastics and making sure that, it's not leaching into the environment and into the soils. So there's a lot of, associations that this needs to pass through. So we know that it's really coming up to the mainstream, which is really exciting for infrastructure, because we're always going to need roads, but we don't want to always have landfills, because filling up our earth, like, we don't have space left. This is the threat too. That's why there's so many plastics landing in the ocean, because there isn't that proper waste management. So that's kind of a little bit of the story, is how we got started and what we're on to.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, well, that's, I mean, it's, the world works in serendipitous ways, right? I mean, the fact that, you have this problem that exists, the fact that you go down there in the first place, to raise the girls, in a foreign country, Costa Rica, I haven't been myself. I've heard it's beautiful. We hosted an exchange student back when I was in high school, that was from there. So, had that insight to it. So it's kind of part of my early childhood education, right? So the fact that I'm familiar with it, and that we met, that we're talking about it, it's like, it's just amazing that all the things that can happen, just by conversations. But, seeing that problem, and then, choosing to act on it, right? I mean, so being able to be a force, for good, for change, I mean, that's got to be, fulfilling, for one. But, the film, I mean, to put it around it, and put this whole thing together. I mean, I guess give us an idea, where that's at, I mean, so it's fully cut, and now what you're doing with it, and kind of the journey, and then how that's going to tie back into the mission, and the good that you saw, or the good that you're able to do down there in Costa Rica.
Thank you. Yes. So the film was a very challenging project, because we self-shot it. So my children and I shot ourselves, filmed ourselves. We didn't have a professional crew with us, so we turned the cameras on ourselves for a decade, and we were able to create a very personal film. We wanted to be able to invite the audience in to be able to relate to the hardships of just being like a person in the world, raising a family, and especially being a single parent. And like you said, Steve, in a place where, we got down there, I didn't speak the language, I didn't speak Spanish, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a job, I didn't know what my purpose was when I landed, and I certainly didn't think I'd become a road builder. So it was, just kind of bringing the aspect of the personal story together in the film with the community story, the voice of the community. This is an underrepresented community that, quite frankly, the government is neglecting, because it's just not on their agenda, these roads. And then also the other thread of a scientific solution, a universal solution for plastic waste. So tying those three themes in together and making it flow was what we did in the film. And I was very lucky, because my good friend Richard Lewis, who is the executive producer of Westworld and CSI, he's the creator of CSI, he saw the second cut of the film and he really liked it, but he said, I'm going to help to make this a lot better. So we actually went back into the cutting room. We made 148 new edits, and we re-recorded the entire narration. And so now we have this film that's, we really want to share with university students, with folks that believe in making a difference, that believe in sustainability and want to bring forth solutions and really be active in this space. And so we're really excited to release the film, and we'd like to do so to start with virtual screenings for universities, and then eventually, hope that it's going to get picked up by Netflix. We're just, right now we have some sales agents interested, and so we're going through this whole back-end process of distribution. So it's a very exciting time, because the film is done. We've got amazing musicians attached. We have a Juno award-winning musician who created the soundtrack for the film. So it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, and so I mean it's using your past experience, recognizing a problem that exists out there, and then tapping into the network, right? So I mean this is what we at the Entrepreneur Center talk about all the time, and we watch and truly I mean creating a film is an entrepreneur. You've taken it beyond that and wrapped a company around it as well, but that's truly like the entrepreneurial journey. It's the best companies kind of start with the recognition of a problem, right? And then how do we solve it? And you might not have all the answers, from the start. I mean, that's okay. More than likely, your first, answer probably isn't the best one, right? It's when we dig in deeper that we find it. So it's funny the parallels, that exist between, all the different things out there. So.
Absolutely. It really is an entrepreneurial journey, making a film, making an independent film. And then, of course, so Steve, as I shared with you before we did this fireside chat, I had to actually create my own company in Costa Rica because I realized that none of the companies really wanted to try or change their systems because, it's like, why change what's working here for us? But we all know that we have to change now. This is the time of change. And so, having to create my own company, Green Pavement, that provides sustainable modifiers, plastic modifiers for the industry in Costa Rica, to become that supplier, and then to use the film as our launch pad, like to use the film to promote this this product, and also to just create a momentum. I think that it's really within the industry, and once people realize that this is out there and this is such an amazing solution for plastic waste, it's a circular economy, it's not expensive, it's easy, any government can do it. We're very, taking a very strong stance, getting behind this, so strong that we actually created policy. So we wrote a bill about 5 years ago. And that's when I say we're talking people in Costa Rica, engineers, Congress people. Yeah, there's a lot of people involved in kind of allowing a bill to come together and get passed through Congress and to become a law. So now there is a law in Costa Rica that mandates the use of recycled materials in road construction, and that includes waste materials of at least 15% in each project. So we'd love that to happen in all countries.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, as some people may or may not know, so I have a company that, we started and originally was around putting waste plastic into asphalt for better roads, more sustainable, longer lasting, and as you've alluded to, a great, solution to the plastic crisis as well. We started that in, the research started in the early 2000s. I got involved in 2008, and I mean, nobody was talking about it. I mean, you go out there and they're like, okay, but why is that a thing, right? And so we had to make a decision of whether we truly went out and tried to tackle it and raise a bunch of money, and put it around it, or just kind of sit and wait. And we chose the latter. We still did development on the side and made connections, and I went out and sold in the industry, to get out there and be able to have that as a back thing if the opportunity ever presented itself. And then, of course, the National Sword effort in 2018, and all of a sudden, America, realizes that we have a plastic crisis, right? Which we have had for decades, but it's right. Something that, and when some other country or countries are getting, taking some, but literally we were dumping a lot on a lot of countries here in the West. We're dumping it on other, developing countries, including Costa Rica, then that becomes a huge, issue. So because now you're forced to deal with all 100% that you were shipping away. So, and then Costa Rica, I mean, you've got both oceans, coming together, and just, I mean, it's just the land barrier that grabs it all. So, I mean, I've seen pictures, you've lived it, you've walked it. So, and seeing, just how impactful that crisis is, and then you couple it with what's happening at the schools. The intersection of the two to have a solution is really admirable. So,
thank you. Well, I love what you're doing with Niko Tech, and I think that you're, really well positioned right now, having started so long ago with all of the testing and certifications, and just from what you told me, Steve, with getting things done properly through the associations, and all the R&D that you guys have done. Excuse me. You're really on that right path for the United States, because I did speak to some potential investors for our company, Green Pavement, for Costa Rica, and these are people that have been in the industry as well, large builders, and they would say to me, well, if this is being done, like, why isn't it being done in the States? Why are we not doing it in the United States? I said, well, just wait a couple of years. You're going to see this thing rise, and it is, and it's rising rapidly. So it's exciting.
Every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. So I'm just so happy to watch and to be able to help in any way that we can with Niko Tech. I think that I'm a very big believer and supporter of your company. So keep going. So
well, appreciate that, and and vice versa. I mean, I think there's ways here that we can work together and go down to Costa Rica and really use that as a proving ground and of different formulas, and this the benefit is truly global, the impact is truly global, and the problem, quite frankly, is truly global. So there's a lot of places, and we'll definitely be a participant in that. And then with the university stuff, as we've talked about, I mean, screening it here for our students. We have an awesome environmental sustainability group here on campus, and advocates, in each of the suburbs, right? There's a lot of communities that have their own green advocacy and climate tech and clean tech and all that. So it's a hot topic right now. I'm pretty sure it's, at this point, it's bipartisan. I mean, whether you want to go down the climate change route or all that, but the environmental and sustainability is, bipartisan, unarguable. We need to be good stewards to our environment. It doesn't matter, what that, is, but we have to be good stewards to our environment. And there's great ways and great people like you that are out there doing things to truly, not only just talk about it, but be about it, and then, create action. So, where do you, I guess, we've got the film going through film festivals. We'll post a link to the trailer up here so that people can view it and see it out there. But you talked about a little bit about distribution, and I don't think many are probably familiar with that, but where do you kind of see, if we're sitting here in April of 2022, where do you see it being, both in the film and then kind of the impact?
Yeah, great question. Okay, so first of all, the distribution process is exciting right now because of COVID. There's a whole different landscape. Like back in the olden days, before COVID, we would do these big film festivals because we would be able to travel to them and show our films in these theaters, and then have opportunities to meet with distributors, streaming distributors now too, like Netflix and Hulu and Crave and all of those larger streamers. So now what we do is virtual screenings, and this is what I'm really excited about, is because I want you guys, the university students, to be able to watch this film and get behind this opportunity for sustainability. Where I don't think before, like, a lot of university students would be attending film festivals. They're expensive to attend. So we're going to create an opportunity to show this film as much as possible for as little as just $10 to attend, and have a Q&A with me and potentially Richard, the executive producer. He's really busy right now working on Westworld, but we're definitely going to give this opportunity for the film. So that's this next phase, and we plan on partnering with folks that are making skateboards made out of plastic waste, so we can have giveaways or electric scooters or electric bikes or whatever, anything that's sustainable that has to do with the road. We're creating these alliances and partnerships so that we can make it fun. We can have giveaways for every event that we do. So that's really exciting. So for 2020, we plan on then having the film out on a streaming network. So at that point, then the film hopefully will be screened all over the world via, you can just watch it on your computer. But we don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know if that's exactly the plan. So right now, this is our plan, is to have these virtual screenings. And just kind of circling back to the project itself, in many parts of the world, as we know, there is no waste management system in place. And we see this a lot in Central America, where people are just dumping their garbage into the rivers. And that's why the garbage is ending up in the oceans, because they don't have somebody coming to their houses like we do in North America and picking up the trash. So what we plan on doing is still, being very active down there to make sure the government gets behind some form of waste management program. And we want to be able to pave the school roads. So this is where, Niko Tech might be able to join us and come down to Costa Rica and actually pave those 7 school roads. So we're fundraising right now. We just need to raise, a couple $100,000 for 7 schools. Not a lot of money. We've had a lot of companies come in kind to help with materials, with machinery, with engineers, consulting. So so there's like a lot of phases, right? Like being an entrepreneur, there's so many phases involved, and it's like tons of balls in the air, but we just stay in the moment, we do what we can, and step by step, we're hoping that this is just going to become a driving force for a resolve for plastic waste worldwide. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, there we go. All right, perfect. Well, we put some links in the chat there, so people can grab the trailer. It's posted there. And then the Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter handles for the film. So I mean, it truly can be the vehicle to help, to have that impact, to drive, the results, for that you want to see down there. And then again, be kind of like that springboard for, the rest of the country to look at the different solutions, the rest of the world, quite frankly. So some people may be familiar and have seen the success and the stuff out there of movies like Seaspiracy, right? So that's kind of like the documentary film, going around right now. I mean, is that something that think helps tee things up for you guys? That people are coming out of somewhat out of quarantine. We're starting to get vaccinated, to get out there in the world again. Is that something that does help, like people being familiar with the format and such now?
Yes, this is the golden age of documentaries, and thank God for that, because we're coming out of a lot of that fluff, right? A lot of, it's great watching programming that's fun and entertaining, but I think at this point, we have to wake up even more and become a little more realistic about some of the major issues we have in the world. Climate change is a thing. We can't really ignore it. So films like Seaspiracy, and I actually haven't seen it yet because I've just been waiting to kind of understand what all the facts are around that, because I'm understanding there's some differing facts. That's one thing about our film, is you can know for sure that everything we have put in our film is 100% true and factual and tested. But we really appreciate Seaspiracy and really the streaming networks for supporting these types of films. My Octopus Teacher is another great one, where we can really be aware of protecting the sea life in a gentle and focused way. So yeah, we're excited, and we think that Pave the Road, our film, is really an amazing example of that next best step for waste management. So our film is different because it provides a solution. It's very hopeful, and at the same time, it's relatable because I really actually share a lot of my personal journey in my life, and why I suffered from the things I did, and why I put myself in different positions in life, and how, so on that level of relatability, we're really excited to be able to reach out on a personal level to engage our our community to follow us and support us. And one of the things, the way to get on Netflix is that we need at least 100,000 followers on Instagram. They look at the followers. They won't even look at you if they don't see your followers, or unless there's some kind of miracle to get through that iron door. So I'm just hoping that the listeners and the audience here today will take that opportunity to watch the trailer. And if you love the trailer, please follow us and sign up on our website, which is pavetheroad.net, so that you can be invited to our virtual screening and be part of this mission with us, because we need you. So
Yeah. Wow. So 100,000 followers, so everybody that watches this, go follow Pave the Road. You can catch the journey. There'll be opportunities, all along the way, as Kelly's outlined, to participate and, possibly win some things and just help a good cause, right? I mean, I think that's something that people don't understand, that side of it, right? They just think, oh, you just upload it, you sell, and you become a millionaire in the process, right? They pay you to take it and all that. Not the case.
yeah.
So, and I think what's really fascinating is the journey you're in right now. So with these film festivals, and I've had another buddy go through kind of some of the circuit, not quite to the extent I think that you're doing, but what's that like? I mean, in submitting, because you're and I guess second part of the question would be you're right, you're very vulnerable in the film. You put it out there, a very personal story, but I think especially in 2021, I mean, people want authenticity. Authenticity wins. And people can smell the BS from 100 miles away, and you truly are, you're authentic in the film, you're vulnerable. And do you think that plays in, I mean, obviously, but to what degree or whatever does that play into the cinematography?
The cinematography and the
Yes,
way we
there you
made
go.
the
That's what I'm
production.
looking for. Well, but of the art that a lot of these festivals and everything look at, and a balance of that. So it's a loaded
Yeah,
question, but feel free.
for sure. No, actually, well, I think it's important for our audience to know that I really didn't plan on making a film. I just wanted to help the community. So when we realized that there was a major problem with the road dust for these children, and quite frankly, the whole community, the elders are getting sick. There's literally like a thick layer of dust on our furniture, after a day, So anyway, I decided, well, I have a camera, so I'm just going to use the camera as a tool. So I did not think I would be making a documentary film. I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to hold the camera up in front of the government officials and hold them accountable and say, hey guys, these kids are getting sick. Let's pave these roads. Let's be sustainable about it though. So really use the camera as a tool to get into the president's offices, all of the ministers, into the laboratory, to be able to document everything. So in the end, when I realized, oh, I've got this is a great story. This is an important story. It's important that everybody know about this solution. So that triggered a drive for me to make a great film. And And so, like I said, because my kids and I actually filmed each other, we only had 2 cameras. We had a Canon 5D Mark II with 2 lenses and a GoPro. And it was the first GoPro, so the one that didn't even have a screen on it. So that's how we made the entire film. And, and being able to create this story that was something that I could just put in the world. It was like my soul needed to do this, right? It's like, we just want to do something. We're good people. We're all good. We're all good at the core. So I just wanted to do something good by putting out this film. So hopefully other people and moms, especially, and single moms, to say, hey, look, I have this urge to take care of this problem or to do this in my life, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. So to inspire people, to give inspiration. In terms of the cinematography, I have been a cinematographer in the industry, in the International Cinematographers Guild of Canada, for many years, over 20 years, and I have a lot of experience on how to make a film. So that certainly helped. But everybody's got a good eye these days. And as long as you have a good story and a good cause and motivation to want to do good, then that's enough. That's pretty much all you need. And then to go into the film festival, to answer that part of the question, because I was an independent filmmaker on this project and I didn't have any funding or grants from any sources at all, it was really hard to get into the bigger festivals because and unfortunately it still is the way. It's still political in terms of being able to get your film into the larger festivals. You pretty much need to either connect with a distribution company from the beginning, or a sales agent that is known throughout the programmers at the festivals, or the funders. And I don't have either one of those, and even though I'm very well connected in the film industry. So that made it hard to get into a lot of the bigger festivals. But thanks to Film Freeway, there are festivals listed there. I think there are almost 10,000 film festivals in the world now where you can show your film. So go make that film and get onto Film Freeway, and just, there's a little trick actually. Once you've made your film and you register your film on Film Freeway, you can buy into some of the marketing aspects of it and send out, let's say, your poster to all the festivals, and I think it costs like $75. And so that's what we did. We sent our poster out and we got responses back from festivals that offered us a discount for the submission fee, because it costs a lot of, it adds up with those submission fees. But you can get discounts that way, and then you can decide what festival your film fits, and then you can go ahead and submit. And we've been really lucky because our film has been winning. We've been winning for best cinematography and best documentary and female direction. So those are our top 3 categories that we're winning for right now. And I think that helps to get the laurels for these film festivals, so that further down the road, when you want to license your film to a streaming network, so again, very entrepreneurial, just, you have to, so Netflix, for example, has Netflix Latin America, Netflix Canada, Netflix USA. So every country is a different licensing agreement. So that's what we're going for, what we're going to go for in 2022. So that's kind of how it works, and anybody can do it. It's easy. It's just head down, step by step.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, I mean, well, it's cool that there's tools and the tips and the tricks, right? The resources that help you get out there. So because unfortunately everything has a little politics to it, right? So, and if it's first time going to stuff, there's always that learning curve and everything. So I always tell people, go learn from somebody that's been there before. Right? Go ask what they did to get there, because looking back, there's things that they learned and like, oh, well, if I would do it now, I'd do it this way. So, and that's exactly, what you're doing and going through. So that's awesome. So, and thanks for paying it forward, to anybody that's out there that's looking to follow a similar journey. So, yeah, so, well, this has been fun. The impact that I think that you can have, with the film is tremendous. Very much, kudos for seeing the problem, acting upon it, creating something, even if that's not what you set out to do, as you said, you're trying to hold people accountable, getting the government officials involved, getting the locals involved, and then figuring out a solution. That's truly admirable. So it's awesome. And yeah, we'll post where people can go and follow along again. But yeah, closing remarks. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Steve. I would. This is what happened. My father. This is just a little story before we close. My father used to head up the Bank of Nova Scotia, so he was a big businessman. He created like the point system for credit cards and the whole ATM banking system. So he was a real player in that industry. But he got diagnosed with cancer and he was given 6 months to live. And I asked him, I said, Dad, if you had more time on earth, what would you do? And he did not hesitate with saying community service work. And that really hit home for me because at that time I was working full time in the film industry. I hadn't had the kids yet. And I was doing really well. And I could have just stayed there, made lots of money and just had fun on cool shows. But there was something there that wasn't feeding my soul. And I think it's really important for us to, all kind of try to take that time as you go throughout your lives and recognize where is the opportunity for me to serve. And community service work is really such a fantastic place because, it is about community here on earth. We're all connected. So so I just wanted to end with that note, like really keep your heart open to being able to, do wherever your heart wants you to go. Sometimes it's not so important, like our social conditioning has told us to get a job, buy a house, settle down, have a family. That's just a bit of a fairy tale, right? We're always here right now in this moment. So if you want to go out and do something where your heart's calling you to do it, then I am 100% behind you. Go do it. It will be the most fulfilling thing. And that's all I have to say for now.
Well, no, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, I think that's, an important thing to strive for is impact, right? So is leaving an impact, leaving a legacy, big, small, anything, but just do it, right? Just leave something. So it can touch 10 people, can touch 10,000, but you're making a difference in, somebody. So that's awesome. So, well, that's a great note to end on. So, and, again, for those that are watching, we've got it in the comments, the trailer out there. Kelly has created a documentary on the crisis down in Costa Rica, both the plastic waste problem and the school dust problem, where they have, not like the United States, they've got some open air schools. So the children are breathing in the dust from the roads. So kind of solving, multiple problems with a complex solution, or well, a simple solution, but to a complex problem. So yeah, so go check it out. Pave the Road. Follow her on all the social channels, and get out there and follow the journey as she goes through the rest of the film festivals. And then we will somehow, some way, Niko Tech, Green Pavement Company, Pave the Road. We'll go down there, get the roads paved at the 7 school sites in Costa Rica. So we will make that happen. So we're putting it out there in the universe. That will happen. So, and we'll do a follow-up when we do, right? And we'll film it all along the way. So
awesome. Great idea, Steve, for sure.
Awesome. So, well, thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us. And for all those that are tuning in, next Friday, we got another Fireside Friday chat, 1 p.m. here, live from the social media channels at the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center at Ohio Wesleyan University. Everybody have a wonderful week and a weekend, and we will see you next time. Take care.